All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to break down the brand new 2025 Crypto Crime Report. This is the deep dive into where illicit money is flowing on the blockchain. We'll look at the biggest threats, the newest trends, really the whole high-stakes battle being fought right now. So let's get into it.
Okay, first things first. Let's just start with a number, a really big number. $40.9 billion. That's the minimum amount of crypto we can confirm was received by illicit addresses in 2024. And I'm really stressing the word minimum here, because believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
So why is it just the tip of the iceberg? Well, that 40.9 billion, that's what we call a lower bound estimate. Think about it. Investigations are happening right now. As new bad guy addresses get identified, their entire transaction history gets added to the pot. So you can bet that number is only going to go up a lot.
And hey, if you need proof, just look at what happened last year. The initial report for 2023 said $24.2 billion. A year later, that number was revised up to $46.1 billion. It almost doubled. So if that same pattern holds for 2024, yeah, we're not just talking about a big year. We're probably looking at an all-time record, blowing past $51 billion.
So what are these criminals actually using? This right here is a huge, huge shift in the game. For the longest time, everyone just assumed crypto crime meant Bitcoin, right? Well, not anymore. Look at this. Stablecoins, the ones pegged to the US dollar, now make up a whopping 63% of all illicit volume. This is a complete rewrite of the criminal playbook.
Okay, so why? Why the sudden love for stablecoins? This quote from the report just nails it. Even the bad guys, from scammers all the way up to sanctioned countries, they want stability. If you're locked out of the traditional banking system, you can't get your hands on US dollars. So what's the next best thing? A stablecoin that's pegged to the dollar. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? They're using crypto to get the stability of the very system they're trying to avoid.
All right, so we know how much and we know what they're using, but what kind of crime are we actually talking about? Well, when you look at the on-chain value, it really boils down to two things that are just way bigger than anything else: scams and straight-up theft.
And this chart, wow, it really puts it all into perspective. Scams raked in almost $10 billion last year. Hacking and stolen funds, another $2.2 billion. Now think about ransomware. We hear about it all the time, right? It's a huge deal. Well, it came in at just over $800 million. I mean, that's still a lot of money, but it's not even in the same league. The sheer scale of fraud and theft is just on a whole different planet.
And speaking of stolen funds, let's zoom in on that for a second, because one name just dominates the list: North Korea. Get this, hackers linked to the North Korean state stole an unbelievable $1.34 billion in 2024. No, that's not a typo. A single country was responsible for 61% of all crypto stolen from platforms last year. And they're using it to fund their weapons programs. Just wild.
Now, on the scam side of things, there's one type that is just exploding, and it is particularly nasty. It's called a pig butchering scam. And this is not your typical email scam. No, this is a long con. Scammers spend weeks, sometimes months, building a deep, personal, often romantic relationship with a victim. They fatten up the pig, so to speak, gaining their trust before convincing them to invest everything into a fake crypto platform. It's financial and emotional devastation all in one.
And how well is it working for them? Terrifyingly well. The money pulled in by these pig butchering scams jumped by nearly 40% in just 1 year. That tells you just how effective and how widespread this awful scam has become.
Okay, so scams are through the roof. But what about ransomware? Well, that's a completely different story. In 2024, the entire ransomware world got turned on its head. For the first time in what feels like forever, the total amount paid to ransomware gangs actually dropped. And we're not talking a little dip. It fell by 35% from the all-time highs of 2023. Something big must have happened to cause that kind of disruption.
So what was it? Well, this timeline lays it all out. The first half of the year, it was pretty much business as usual. Payments were even up a little bit. But then, boom. In early 2024, law enforcement came down hard on Lockbit, which was one of the biggest, baddest ransomware gangs out there. And the impact was almost instant. Look at that chart. After July, payments just fell off a cliff. It's a perfect example of how targeted action can really make a dent.
And this quote from an industry expert really sums up what happened next. After law enforcement took out giants like Lockbit and another one called Black Cat, the market just broke.
You'd expect another big group to just step in and take over, right? But that didn't happen. Instead, the whole thing just splintered into a bunch of smaller, lone wolf attackers. The whole ecosystem got destabilized.
So, it's pretty interesting. While the ransomware world is breaking apart, another part of the criminal underground is getting more organized and, frankly, more professional than ever. We're talking about the rise of crime as a service.
And if you want a perfect example of this, look no further than a platform called Huione Guarantee. Seriously, the best way to think about it is like an Amazon or an eBay, but for cybercrime. It's a massive online marketplace where bad actors can go to buy and sell all the tools of the trade. And when I say massive, I mean it. The scale here is just staggering. Since 2021, this platform and its sellers have processed over $70 billion in crypto. This isn't some shady corner of the dark web. This is a full-blown financial engine that's powering a huge chunk of the entire crypto crime world.
So what's for sale on this criminal Amazon? You name it, they've got it. You can buy the software kits to run your own pig butchering scam. You can hire someone for laundering as a service to clean your dirty money. You can buy lists of potential victims. Get your hands on AI software to create incredibly realistic fake personas. You can even pay to have your fake social media accounts pumped up to look legit. It's a one-stop shop.
And here's the part that's both fascinating and terrifying. What's the fastest growing product category on this platform? Artificial intelligence. Revenue for the vendors selling AI tools, things like deepfake software to create fake video calls, it shot up by 1,900%. Criminals are adopting cutting-edge tech at a lightning pace to make their scams better and bigger.
Okay, so we've got these incredibly sophisticated scams, and we've got these professionalized criminal marketplaces. It might feel like crypto is the perfect tool for criminals, right? That it's all anonymous and untraceable. But that brings us to the great paradox of this whole thing.
You know, this is the question I get all the time. So, is crypto just a playground for criminals? Is it really this anonymous, untraceable money? Well, the data in this report actually points to a very different and maybe surprising answer.
And the answer is a resounding no. Because the one thing that makes blockchain so powerful, the fact that it's a public, permanent, unchangeable record of every transaction, well, that's also a criminal's worst nightmare. Every single move they make is recorded forever. It creates a permanent digital trail. For an investigator, that's not a weakness, it's a goldmine of evidence.
Here's how it plays out. The bad guys move the stolen money on-chain. Every single one of those transactions leaves a permanent digital footprint. Investigators can then use powerful blockchain analysis tools to literally follow the money from one wallet to the next until it hits an exchange or a service where they can unmask the person behind it. This transparency, this is exactly how law enforcement was able to take down a group like Lockbit and seize their funds.
So, this all leads to one final, really important question. We've seen that crime is getting more professional, more organized, and it's using more advanced technology. So the challenge is this ongoing cat-and-mouse game. As the criminals get smarter, can the tools and the investigators stay one step ahead? The entire future of security in this space really depends on the answer to that question.